I'm Eric Weiss, SaaS executive coach and founder of the Chaos to Clarity Accelerator. So, one of the most common pitfalls that founders fall into is what I call the builder's trap. And it stems from the myth that people aren't willing to give us their time unless we have a product to show them, right? I'm just a guy with an idea. Who's going to give me the time of day? And so we cut to the chase and we just start building the idea that's in our head. We put a bunch of time into it, money into it. We might even go raise some money and build a team and build a product. And then we say, okay, now we've actually got something to show. Now people are going to start giving us their time and their feedback. But actually, the opposite happens because now that you have a product to sell, they don't want to get roped into a sales conversation. And so they aren't willing to give you their time. So this is the way to avoid the builder's trap and get potential customers to freely and willingly give you their time and give you their feedback before you even have anything to sell. And it goes a little something like this. It's all about the way that you approach them. So instead of saying, hey, I've got a product and I'd love to see what you think of it, we simply start a blog. It's all you got to do. It's that simple. Just start writing a blog, write articles or write white papers about this customer profile and about the problems that they're struggling with. So then you can approach them by saying, I'm doing some research for an article or for a white paper or for a podcast episode that I'm doing. And I'd love to take a few minutes and ask you a few questions. And I would be happy to shout you out or shout out your company, give you a quote and a link back so that there's some reciprocity there, right? And I've got incredible results from this, from all of my clients and members in my accelerator. They go off and they do this and they go from literally crickets, like not having anybody being willing to talk to them, to having an overflow of potential customers that are falling onto their calendar, giving them their time, giving them their feedback, because it's the way that we're approaching them, just from a place of learning, but then also from a place of reciprocity, right? It's not that I've built a product and now, I want you to give me some free work by poking holes in it and telling me what's wrong so I can then sell it to you. And I don't have a product already built that I want to put in front of you because, it's a hidden or veiled sales conversation. No, I'm doing research for a white paper and I'd love to get your thoughts and your feedback. And this allows you to really understand them as people, the problems that they're dealing with, and even the competitors in the market, because you're a neutral third party and they're going to be more vulnerable with you. Not only that, you're now building a relationship with them. So if you have a good conversation, you can ask them, hey, would it be cool if I reach back out to you again in the future if I have other questions or if I'm doing another article? Most often they're going to say yes. And so you just got a spreadsheet or a database or something where you're keeping track of them. And then as you sort of continue to flesh out your product, you'll have other areas that you want to dive into, other facets of the problem, right? Or you might want to come at it from a market side, from a competition side, or from a user experience side. And so you'll be able to continually reach back out to the same people and get their feedback. And then guess what? Eventually, you're going to have a product to sell. You're going to have a prototype to show them. And then you can say, you know what? I've been doing this research and I've actually come up with a solution and I'd love to pick your brain about it. I'd love to show you some of the sketches that I've made. And they'll be like, cool. Yeah, show me what you got. That's awesome. And then that relationship is going to turn into, you know what? I've actually built a prototype. Do you want to test it out? Do you want to be a beta tester? Now they feel like they're with you on the journey. And of course, when you actually have a real product to sell that has been designed based on their feedback, they're going to be the first ones in line to buy. They're going to tell their friends about it, etc. So this is the best way to reach out to strangers in the market and get them to give you your time and give you your feedback. But you might think to yourself, like, that's not really scalable. It's totally scalable. And here's how you do it. You get a LinkedIn Sales Navigator account and you create a list of all the people that potentially match your customer persona. And then you simply connect it to an automation tool like Meet Alfred or something like that, where you have an intro sequence and a follow-up sequence where you're basically reaching out to the right people and you say, hey, I love the experience that you have. I love to see what you're doing at this company. I'm doing research for this article. I'd love to pick your brain, ask you a few questions. And then if they respond, you simply paste in a link to your calendar. And again, you can do this. You can have an assistant do this. And so with this simple messaging sequence, customers are going to start just falling onto your calendar, ready to give you their time, ready to give you their feedback. And then as you're building these relationships at scale, you're going to be able to flesh out your product, flesh out your strategy, flesh out your competitive advantages. And then also, when you actually have a product that's ready to sell, you're going to have a prime group of potential customers that are with you along the journey.